शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायु त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ज्ञानं ब्रह्म इति वचनात् प्राप्तम् अन्तवत्वम्. This is the Bhashya. So, Jnanam Brahma iti. So, iti vachanat. Through, because of these words. Which words? Jnanam Brahma. First what? Satyam Brahma. Then Jnanam Brahma. Jnanam Brahma iti vachanat. Because of this Jnana Shabda Prayogena, where in the definition of Brahman, what happens? Antavatvam praptam. Antavatvam praptam means that we have a interesting problem. We have ushered into, whether we like it or not, we have ushered into the discussion of Brahman a finitude because of all these reasons that was already pointed out. And what was it that was pointed out? The reason that was pointed out was that in the discussion, the three karakas, karta, karma, karana, the agent and the so either knowledge means Brahman has got knowerhood or has got a agency, or alternatively what else has got is an object. If not the subject, it's an object of knowledge, it's the knower, it's the known, or it's the means of knowledge. And even though we have tried to eliminate that, the word jnanam itself has ushered in that. Remember, the word anantam has still yet to come. Okay, so the word jnanam brahma has ushered in that that already. What has it ushered in? It has ushered in a sense of finitude, limitation associated with Brahma. And the hetu is given in the next line. Laukikasya jnanasya antavatva darshanat. Ramakrishnan ji is back? You're here?
Yes, I am back.
Yeah, okay, wonderful. From now, after this sentence, you can repeat. We'll do that.
Okay.
So, laukikasya jnanasya antavatva darshanat. Because laukika jnana means what? In the world, when you say knowledge, then you say knowledge of what? Then immediately you're looking at knowledge as an object. And then if you say knower, oh, knower again, oh, who is the knower? And then you're thinking of one or two entities as the knower. And then, or if you say knowledge or how the knowledge takes place, that also is finite, because the number of pramanas, the number of means of knowledge that one commands is again finite. And so therefore what? Laukikasya jnanasya antavatva darshanat. So because of this, what has happened? Jnanam brahma iti vachanat antavatvam praptam. Praptam means now the word jnanam brahma, even though we have spent a lot of time negating it, because of the orientation, the orientation of the regular way in which the knowledge is used, it has gained a certain finitude. And if jnana, so Brahman has gained finitude, not the word jnanam, okay? Yeah, Brahman is in the danger of gaining finitude, and that has to be properly understood. It has gained finitude, and then therefore what? You said you could repeat. You're still there? Not? Maybe he's
yes,
not
I am
there.
here.
Ataha.
Yes, I am here.
Okay.
I am here. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay. Repeat. Yeah, please repeat then.
Ataha. Ataha.
Tannivartyartham
Tannivartyartham aha.
Anantam iti.
Anantam iti.
So now a very interesting thing is happening here. Adi Shankara, in his own merry way, is going along explaining the Bhashya and going from one thing to another. And what is this one thing to another? Is going from what did we just finished? Jnanam. So first it was Satyam and then Jnanam. And now moving on towards Anantam. And then what? This Purva Pakshi is not going to let him do that. Purva Pakshi has a question, which we already had a little bit of a sneak look yesterday. And what was that? We had a, we had a little bit of a, what's its name? A little bit of a, preview of what is to come. And the objector here is coming from an interesting place. The objector is saying, look, I have been listening to whatever you said with great care. I have taken notes also. It's not that I have taken notes. I have been, listening to you with the greatest care. And I have listened to what you said about Satyam, what you said about Anantam, what you said about Jnanam Brahma, everything. And then Anantam now you want to say. And you, even though you are introducing Anantam just now, you still have, you have already talked about Anantam, because I saw how deftly you used the concept of Anantam in order to dismiss Jnatritvam and Jnatvam, etc. for Brahman. You dismissed Brahman as the knower, as just the knower, or the known, or the means of knowledge. Very deftly you used all this. So I saw what you did. And these words, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, are only, and one thing I learned throughout this process. What did I learn? I learned that you are using these three words only in the limited sense. Only in the limited sense. In the sense of, you're using these words only to negate. That's what it is. You're not establishing anything at all. You're not establishing absolutely, you're establishing absolutely nothing. And so you're only using it to negate. And then in this negation, what is there? Zero, nothing. So when you're negating, you're negating the knower gone. You're negating the known gone. You're negating Brahman as a means of knowledge gone. So gone. And then if it's all gone, then what is left? Satyam, you have you have negated Satyam also. Sat and Ritam means what? It is not mithya. So it's all just, it is all just, I haven't used it right now, but I know what you're going to say. I absolutely know what you're going to say. What you're going to say is that it is going to negate something else. It's going to negate finitude and all this associated with Brahman. And so therefore, what the there is, when we talk about Brahman, we don't need to use the word Brahman. Just between you and me, you can just use the word Shunya. So now we know where this object, what are the philosophical moorings of this objector. Any guesses? Buddhist, definitely, because it is all about nothingness. And so this is someone who is a Buddha object. And so this is the objection. I lost the Bhashya. 1 second. Somewhere here. Yeah. So this is the objection. So it's very interesting Purva Paksha. And Adi Shankara sets up this Purva Paksha only to bring it back to Lakshanartha. And how this Lakshana is very interesting. Let us understand. Satyadinam. Anritadi. Yeah. Anritadi dharma. Nivritti paratvat. Visheshasya cha brahmanaha. Utpaladivat. Aprasiddhatvat. Mrigatrishnam bhasisnatah. Khapushpakritashekharaha. Eshaha bandhyasuto yati. Shashashringa dhanurdharaha. Itivat. Shunyarthata eva prapta. Satyadivakyasya iti chet. Na lakshanarthatvat. So Satyadinam, this is the objection. Satyadinam Anritadi dharma nivritti paratvat visheshasya brahmanaha. So he gives two reasons why the Brahman is Shunya. First, I have listened to your definition. You went on and on. And this is actually this is the 21st class. So for 20 classes, you have shouted yourself hoarse, saying this is not, this doesn't have any vyabhichara. No vyabhichara, therefore Satyam. And then Mridadivat, it is not Jada, therefore Jnanam. But then when you use Jnanam, make sure it's not the knower, it's not the knower, it's not this. You ding this into the head. And in fact, in sleep, I'm saying, Brahman is not Jnata, not Jneyam, not Jnanam. All these things I'm keeping on repeating. And so, Satyadinam, Satyadi Padanam. So, Satya, etc. So, etc. means Adipadat what? Jnanam, Anantam, etc. So, Satyadinam, Anritadi Dharma, Nivritti Paratvat. So, nivritti paratvam asti visheshyasya. So, the words Satya, etc. Satyam Jnanam Anantam what do? They are nivritti para, shabdas. Nivritti para means those that have a commitment to remove something. Nivritti, to negate, let us say. So nivritti paratvam asti, for what? Shabdana, for the words, there is some kind of a commitment. They are really bent on removing. Yeah. I don't know how to do this, but can you please mute yourselves? Yeah, thank you. So, Satyadina, Anritadi Dharma Nivritti Paratvat. So, because, so two conditions, two reasons he gives, the Purva Pakshi. First reason is these words, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, they have nivritti paratvam, meaning they are doing something. They want to remove. What, with these words, they want to remove. And they also want to remove something from Brahman. They want to remove from the definition of Brahman certain things, like Brahman, not the knower, not the known, etc., etc. They want to remove. Okay, Satyadinam, and what do they want to remove? For example, Anritadi Dharma. What is Anritadi Dharma? It is when you look at Satyam. So we say Navyabhicharati. And that is Satyam. Trikala abadhitam, that which is the same in all the three periods of time. Trikala abadhitam satyam. The vyabhichara is removed. Whatever changes, whatever whatever goes up and down, whatever is subject to vikara. Vikara means any kind of modification. Tat anritam. So yadrupa, we saw that rupena nishchitam, tad rupam navyabhicharati satyam. So anritadi dharma is removed by this. And then if anritadi dharma is removed by this, then all these words are nivritti paratva. Nivritti paratvam they have, meaning they have a commitment to remove something or the other all the time. They have a commitment to negate. So these words have a dismissive power, not an affirmative power, a power that negates things. And so nivritti paratvat, because of this, what do they negate? Visheshya. So visheshana means the adjectives. Visheshya is that which is talked about. That is the visheshya, that to which the adjectives apply. So namely Brahman. So they are going to remove all these things from this Brahman. I am still waiting to know what this Brahman is. And you have just given me a whole list of all the things Brahman is not. First reason. Have you understood the first reason? Yeah? Okay, good. And then he gives another reason. As though that is not enough, he gives another reason. Then, and supposing if Brahman was available to me to see, and then I was, like supposing there is something, there is a flower. And then that flower is available for sight, for touch, for the olfactory nerves to pick up any kind of fragrance it might have. And so, supposing I look at the flower and then you tell me, this is not rose and this is not marigold. This is not daisy. This is not something. Then at least I have the benefit of looking at it and saying, yes, you're right. This is not rose. This is not daisy. This is not marigold. This is not camellia. This is not carnation. And what is it then? It is a lotus, lily. I can come to that conclusion myself because it is available for at least 3 sense organs, 3 pramanas, 3 means of knowledge, mind you. It is available for 3 forms of knowledge. And so therefore, I can come to that conclusion on my own. However, your Brahman is not available for any means of knowledge, so you say. So the second condition is this. The second reason why this objection is being mounted, and let's understand the objection, Shunyartha Shanka. So the doubt is Shunyartha Shanka. A Shanka, a doubt centered around the meaning or the understanding that Brahman must be non-existent, a zero. Brahman is a big zero. And then, so first condition, because all these words are dismissive in nature, they keep dismissing some dharma, some attribute or the other from Brahman. And then, not only that, then it is not even this Brahman that you talk about, Utpaladivat Aprasiddhatvat. Aprasiddha means it is not known. What? Utpaladivat, like even the lily that you talked about. See how carefully I have listened, says the Purva Pakshi. The blue, fragrant, big lily example, I like that because at least we were talking about something which I could enclose in my mind. But this Brahman is not an object of thought. He's not the thinker. He's not the means of thinking. What is it then? And it is Utpaladivat Aprasiddhatvat. So Aprasiddhatvat means because of it not being known as an object, like even the lily that you were referring to earlier. And so for these 2 reasons, then let us forget all these other things. So let us see where what to say. So let us Shunyartha Tasmat Shunyartha eva prapta Satyadivakyasya iti chet. What are you going to do if I say, iti chet means if I say that because of these 2 conditions, and it, Shunyartha eva prapta. Shunyartha eva prapta. So the meaning of these 2 conditions that I have brought out, these 2 situations. One is all these negative particles and negation, dismissal through all these 3 words, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. And I know you haven't covered Anantam, but I have listened enough and Anantam is not going to be any different. You're going to say, and in fact, the word itself starts with a negation. Antam na vidyate yasya. It is already negative. So you are going to use that also in a dismissive sense. So that's the first reason why I have come to the conclusion that Brahman is non-existent. And the second reason is I don't see Brahman anywhere. I see yellow lily, blue lily, pink lily, all these things I see. I can see flower, I can see any object. Even one pramana, I can even sense time through Sakshi Pratyaksha, through a kind of an internal witnessing, which is also a subtle way of knowing. But your Brahman, I don't see anywhere. Therefore, Tasmat, what? Shunyartha eva prapta Satyadivakyasya iti chet. So why can't we conclude that this is Shunya? Brahman is non-existent. This would be a very reasonable conclusion. So the Purva Pakshi, had a day job as a stand-up comedian. Okay. So, and then that's the rest of the objection that I skipped over just to make the grammatical connection and to show you what it is. And now we come to the comedy part. So he illustrates, he says, okay, you have 3 words to describe Brahman. Koi baat nahi. I also will have 3 words to describe, something. And then let's see how that goes down your throat. So I'll also have three adjectives. What are they? First one is Mrigatrishnambhasi snatah. Here we are talking about a young man. And who is this young man? A young man who is the offspring of a woman that has neither given birth nor adopted, nor, through surrogacy, nothing, no form of any connection at all. And in fact, she has, in fact, she herself is, has nothing to do with this. She hasn't given birth to him, nor has she adopted him. And so, and nor is she capable of giving birth, nor has she adopted, nor there is any surrogacy, nothing. No option has been utilized. So therefore, what? Eshaha yati. Here goes. Here goes who? Bandhya sutaha, the son of a woman who has never given birth. And then you can add the others, okay, to modernize it a bit. No adoption, no surrogacy, no IVF or any other possible ways of giving birth. No possibility at all. So here goes the son of a sonless mother. Okay, that is one. The son of a sonless mother. And then, I don't quite see him. Yeah, but I'll describe him to you using some adjectives. And what are those adjectives? He has just come back after taking. That's nice of him. Did he go to the Ganga? Did he take a dip in the Yamuna? These are all names of rivers, holy rivers. No. He took bath right there. Where? Just look right there. But all I see is sand. Aha, exactly. He took bath in the mirage waters. He took a nice bath in the mirage waters. So mirage waters means, in Sanskritam, it is called Mrigatrishna ambha. So that Mrigatrishna means the deer. Apparently they are not meant to live in the desert, but supposing they get lost or find themselves in a dry area, they just keep imagining water and then just fall dead out of thirst. It is some, this is some kind of an ancient saying. So therefore, this fellow who is, the son of a mother, the son of a sonless mother, what has he done? He is all fresh. He has taken a wonderful bath in the waters of a mirage. And not only that, he has adorned himself. Kapushpaihi alankritam shekharam yasya kapushpakrita shekharaha. What is kapushpa? Pushpa means flower. Kapushpa means, akasha pushpa, a flower that has to be plucked from the sky one by one with great care, because they are very delicate, and so you have to watch for them and you have to pluck them, and then you take a needle, and it has to be very, very thin, because as I said, they are fragrant but very delicate flowers, and then you string them together nicely. And so he made himself a little garland, or somebody must have made him a little garland, and that is on his head. That is in his head. Kapushpakrita shekharaha. And then finally, what is that? Then one more adjective. Shashashringa dhanurdhara. Young man is obviously is a warrior, very courageous, brave, and he's carrying a bow. And usually the bow is made of wood, but it's sometimes, it has some fancy inlay work with various, like a elephant tusk, bison horn, rhino horn, like this little inlay work, just a little design. And so his bow is adorned with the horns of the Angora rabbit. So rabbit's horns, a bow made of rabbit horns, sits on his shoulder elegantly. And then, we can add to this. And his sacred thread is made of some kind of, what should I say, web of a non-existent spider, something like that. We can keep on adding to his, embellish his appearance. And so here, this is a famous part of the Bhashya, very clever Purva Pakshi. And so he says, I also, you have Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. I also have 3 adjectives. And what are the 3 adjectives? And there's Kapushpa Krita Shekharaha. And then Shashashringa Dhanurdharaha. Shashashringa Dhanurdharaha means the one who is holding a bow, naturally. And then Shashash made of the horns of a rabbit. That is what he's holding. And so therefore, your Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, my dear fellow, is just like that. And so therefore what? So therefore, this does not, therefore, I have come to the conclusion that it is just a farce. This Brahman doesn't exist at all. Just like the Vandhya Putra doesn't exist. Non-existent Vandhya Putra. And non-existent mirage, who has showered in the non-existent mirage. Shoulder a non-existent bow made up of the horns of the rabbit. And so your Satyam is like that. Satyam means it is no longer Anritam. It is not Anritam. That is what you understand, that it is not Anritam. If it is not Anritam, that means what? It is not Mithya. Whatever you see is Mithya. This is the Buddhist definition of, this is not Mithya at all. Who said it is, so this is not Mithya. If it is not Mithya, then it should not have any Vyabhichara. And I don't see anything that doesn't change. And so it is just like the first. So Satyam is equal to Mrigatrishna Bhasisnata. And then the Jnanam is the sky flowers. And excuse me, there is some choices that Bhasisnata, and then what? So wearing sky flowers, and then thirdly carrying a bow of non-existent horns, etc. And so your Satyam, Jnana, Brahma, it is just like that. Therefore, this is what? Shunya. Because when I asked you, what is Jnanam Brahma? You say it is neither nor. Okay, then it must be the known. No, it's not the known. Oh, then is it a way of knowing something? No. Then nothing to know. Satyam, what is something? Again you negate. It is not Anantam. And then Anantam also, already the word Anantam begins with a negation. An plus Anta. Ananta means not having an end. Not having an end. And so you have just, and so therefore what? Therefore, this Brahman must be a very big zero. So who is narrating this? Who is narrating Mrigatrishnam Bhasisnatah Kapushpa Krita Shekharaha Eshaha Vandyasuto Yati Shashashringa Dhanurdharaha Who is narrating this? Muko Bhakti. A person is narrating this. A mute person is narrating this. And then who is seeing this drishya? Andha Pashti. Perhaps a blind person is seeing this. And then who is hearing this? People with a badhiraha shrinoti. Like this, we can keep on embellishing this. And so therefore what? This is not admissible at all as a thing. This Brahman is not the vastu. It is avastu. It is not vastu at all. It is zero. It is not even avastu. It is non-existent. It is shunya. And then Adi Shankara says, no, not really. Why? Because we have talked about this earlier, Lakshanarthatvat. We already spent a lot of time talking about how this is a Lakshana Vakya, not a Vakya that is adjective. Even though the words are adjectival, but they have a function of a definition. And a definition, by definition, we saw the Lakshana of the Lakshana also. Sarvebhyah, Vishayebhyah, Anyebhyah, Vyavartakam Lakshanam. So the definition, by definition, is that which removes all other, it only fits that one particular thing. It cannot have any other things there at all. It cannot have any other, it cannot fit anything at all. We talked about avyapti. Avyapti means it's sometimes definitions under reach. Under reach means what? They don't cover everything there. It doesn't, it underperforms. If it's a bad definition, it has avyapti. Or if it has an overreach, ativyapti, that is called. And what's an example? Anything that is two-legged is a human being. Anything that has two legs is a human being. This is ativyapti. Ativyapti means it covers too much. It covers the heron, it covers the chicken, it covers all kinds of birds, pakshis, everything. And then so anything that has two legs, even a crow has two legs, but then that's not a human being, obviously. So this is ativyapti. And sometimes it is avyapti or less vyapti. It is not so Lakshana has to be very, very careful. And we also saw the example of the Lakshana. What was the example of the Lakshana? Avakasha Pradatra Akasha. So the Akasha is Avakasha Pradatra, the one that gives the space. That which accommodates is called space. So therefore what? Therefore, so you cannot say that we have not talked about this at all. So Visheshanat, so now we can repeat. Visheshanatve api
Visheshanatve api
Satyadinam
Satyadinam
Lakshanartha Pradhanyam
Lakshanartha Pradhanyam
Iti Avochama Shunye hi Lakshye
Shunye hi Lakshye
Anarthakam Lakshana Vachanam
Anarthakam Lakshana Vachanam
Ataha
Ataha
Lakshanarthatvad
Lakshanarthatvad
Manyamahe na shunyarthata iti.
Manyamahe na shunyarthata iti.
Yeah. So he says Lakshanartha Pradhanya iti Avochama. We have already pointed this out before. And what have we pointed out? That this is Lakshana Vakya. We have pointed this out. This is not anything new. We have already pointed this out. And we have said that even though they have an adjective function. They are really Lakshana Vakya. We have said that. We have said that many, many times, and we have said it with great, determination and great, what's its name, care. We have taken a lot of care in dismissing any kind of adjectival connection. We have said right in the beginning that we are talking about the definition, not the attributes, because that Brahman which we are talking about, which doesn't have any attributes at all. It doesn't have any attributes. So we are talking about Lakshana. So that is the main connection here. So this is exactly what we have been looking at. And so therefore you cannot say so the Lakshanartha Pradhanyam asti. So these vakyas are pradhanyam is predominantly. So the Lakshana sense preponderates. It preponderates. So you cannot come up now with some kind of a, saying that it is a non-existent thing. Why does a non-existent thing need a definition, first of all? Does it, if something doesn't exist, why will we need a definition? And this is what he's going to ask. And so he says that Lakshanartha Pradhanyam. So we already said Satyadinam Lakshanartha Pradhanyam. Even though they are adjectival in their, in their usage, still, Padarthanam Lakshana Lakshya Bhava Sambandha. Padanam Visheshanatve api Padarthanam Lakshana Lakshya Bhava Sambandha iti abochama. We have already talked about. And helpfully, even the place is given here in the earlier in the Bhashya, that place 212 2.12 is given here, and so we can go back and look at that and where it was. And I think actually we should. It's a good way to revisit it, and we can see how it is. So he says here, after that the first Nanu came. Visheshya, Visheshana, what are we doing? And Brahman, again, the same objection was raised earlier. And Yatha, Visheshanantaram Vyavicharat Visheshyate, Yatha Neelam Raktam Cha Utpalam iti, Yatha hi Anekani Dravyani, Ekajatiyani. And then he says that Ekasmin Vastuni, Visheshanantara Ayoga. So then, therefore, in one Vastu, he keeps on talking the same thing. And tatha ekameva cha brahma na brahmantarani yabhya visheshyeta. So he says, why do you need all these adjectives for one Brahman? What are you trying to distinguish it from? It's not like a lily, that there are many colors, many sizes, and some with fragrance, some without fragrance. So what are you trying to distinguish Brahman from? And so why do you need all this Satyam, Jnanam, Ananta, three things for one thing that is only there? And then he had pointed out, Adi Shankara, in refuting that Purva Pakshi, said say exactly the same thing. The Lakshanarthatvad Visheshanana na ayam doshaha yasmat Lakshanartha pradhanani Visheshanani na Visheshana pradhanani eva. Meaning they are just Lakshana pradhana vakya, meaning they are, what is that? They are definitions. They are not adjective. They are basically definitions. And if they are definitions, then you just have to listen and see what is it that is being, what is that's being defined, because it not being an object has to be defined in a particular way, because just like how Akasha was defined, it has to, it has to be defined in a particular way with great care. And this is what we are trying to do. And then now let's see where it is. Yeah, Jnanam Brahma. So then, yeah, then he says further, Shunye hi lakshye anarthakam lakshana vachanam. So if the lakshana, definition, lakshya, that which is defined. So if the lakshya, what is the lakshya here? Brahma. If the lakshya is shunya, meaning for a non-existent lakshya, for a non-existent target, the target of the definition is Brahman. For something that is non-existent, then anarthakam lakshana vachana. Forget three, why don't even need one? So how will how will you define a non-existent person like just now he did? So for that, you don't need three Visheshanas to talk about the Vandhaputra, to talk about the sunless, the sunless, the son of a sunless mother. You don't need all these things because obviously it is not existent. Similarly, to talk about rabbit's horn, you don't need to write a PhD thesis because it is non-existent. For something that is non-existent, you don't even need one word, let alone three. And so, Shunye hi lakshye anarthakam lakshana vachanam. Lakshana vachanam anarthakam. Anarthakam means what? Futile. And these words, Satyam Jnanam Anantam, are totally futile. Why? Because if they keep using themselves up in trying to negate something that is already not there, then what is the use? And Anarthakam again reminds us that nothing in the Shruti is Anarthakam. Shruti is like that. Very, very important to know this. The Shruti has no redundancy, and the Shruti also has nothing that is useless. Everything has some use, has some purpose. Even statements, like we talked about this earlier. So just very quickly, even statements like Agnihi arodit, Agni cried. Why did Agni cry? What is it of use to me? There will be some connection there. There will be connection about not giving silver during the time of a yajna as a gift, because Agni's tears are molten silver. So obviously, even in the first portion of the Veda, whether we are talking or whether we are talking the last portion of the Veda, then regardless of that, we are saying that this what is that? This there is no redundancy, and everything is useful. Otherwise, it will not be talked about. It will not be elucidated. It will not even appear. It will not even appear in the Veda if it is not having a particular purpose. So nothing is purposeless. We saw that. And then, there are so many other statements also in the first portion of the Veda. When you go to heaven, there you will meet crows. Big deal. Here also I've seen crows. Why should I go to heaven to see crows? Well, they are all white. And then what? They have teeth. So this is all heaven trivia, Swarga trivia. They are all white and they have teeth, and then you can go meet them in heaven. But still it is useful. Who is it useful for? Crow Kami, meaning the one who has a desire for seeing, Shweta Kaka. So for the person who wants to see white crow, with danti, etc., with the teeth, etc., for that person it is useful. But who will have such a mad desire? You never know. The compendium of human desires, which makes up the first portion of the Veda, is so vast. In fact, if you start Veda Parayana from the first portion, even after 10 days of priests reciting, it will not get over. So big it is. Because this is the mad mind of the human being. Mad mind has mad desires all the time. Oh, I think I'd like to go do this. I'd like to see that. And let's go to heaven. Tired of this place. Let's see some white crows. Tired of black crows. Like this, some mad desire might be there. For them, it is useful. And so, like this, there is no anarthakyam at all in the Lakshana Vachana at all. And again, I have lost the Bhashya. It doesn't matter. I'll take this book and read from the book. That will be better. So, there is absolutely no this thing. There is absolutely no uselessness that at all. And so, because this is, we are talking of the Shruti, that's the main thing. And so, and the non-existent thing does not need definition. And then, ataha lakshanarthatvat manyamahe, because there is lakshana, because there is this highly evolved form of defining Brahman through the Shruti Vakya, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, then manyamahe, we think, we say, it is our opinion, na shunyarthata iti. There is no shunyarthata possible at all. No shunyarthata. It cannot be shunya. You know, it is, even though it is visheshanarthatve apicha satyadina. No shunya is there. Why? Because you are forgetting how the lakshana works, and we already talked about it. Swa artha parityagaha eva. Swartha parityagaha eva. What is swartha parityagaha? Parityagaha, giving up. Giving up what? Swa artha. So in the Visheshana, it's not that it's describing something non-existent. These words which are used as a Visheshana, but which have the definition, they are not adjectival, but they are definitions, and they work in a very, very interesting way. They work by giving up their regular meanings. That is why when they give up their regular meanings, you start getting confused and you think they are dismissing Brahman completely. They're giving up their original meanings. What are their original meanings? That which is commonly understood by all on this earth. So when you say Satya, real, that keeps changing definition. Vyabhicharaha asti. One day this is real, another day something else is real, the third day Coca-Cola is finally real, okay? Because that is described as the real thing. So one day after another day, after third day, after fourth day, something or the other is real. It is real. This is also real. That is also real. And so therefore what? There must be something wrong. There must be something wrong because it is keeping on, you think there is something wrong because it keeps on, the concept of real keeps on shifting. And then you're using the word Satya, which we use here, existence. And what kind of existence do we know? We don't know of any kind of existence that is not time bound or place bound or object bound. It suffers from three kinds of limitations. So we don't know of any existence that is there forever. We don't know that. And we don't know of any existence that is like a meta existence because of which everything else exists. We don't know that. Our understanding of existence is, it is here for some time in a place doing something or the other. It is here for some time. Big deal. So what? And so therefore, this is why we have this confusion. This is why, this is why Lakshana is absolutely required. And that is why we say Swa, what is that? What did it say? Swa artha parityagaha eva. It is only giving up the commonly known and commonly understood meanings of the words that are already challenged. Why are they challenged? they are challenged because they are infused with the limitations of time and space. Time, space, culture, language, all these things come in the picture. And so the dismissal is to go to the abstract sense of those words. Then why use those words? Well, naturally, I have to use some words that people understand. The Shruti has to use the same words that people understand. So the dismissal of those words yields the meaning of what we are trying to get at, the indicatory meanings, because on the level of the words themselves, that the meaning that is vitiated by time and space has been given up. Satya, real, an existence that is not time bound, and that which can never be negated. We can never find that in the universe. Why? Because it is the one that it is you. It is Ishvara, it is you. So therefore, it is not an object, but an object called Satya. If you call an object Satya, this is the thing, this is what it is, and this is existent, all this, it is all time bound, it is all time bound, it is all time bound. And so therefore, we have this limitation. We have this, the words come with the limitation of language, culture, and yes, human ignorance. All the words that we use in the grammar are tainted with the ignorance, self-ignorance. That's why even the word Brahman declines. Brahma, Brahmani, Brahmani. And then Atma also declines. How many Atmas are there? One. Atma, Atmano, Atmana. And so like this, one Atma, two Atmas, more than two Atmas, that's not there. But this is the power of the language, a shared self-ignorance. This is what is common for all human beings. So we may share so many things, but the thing that humans share universally, regardless of nation, culture, food, all these things are one thing, but there is a shared ignorance of the I. And because the language, everybody has for centuries together labored under the assumption of this shared ignorance. That's why the language is vitiated with these limitations. The culture, the way of thinking, and the attitude towards pursuing this knowledge also has the same limitations. Nothing else. And so therefore, you cannot use unknown words. I mean, you recall Pujya Swamiji made up a word, Gagabugang, something like that. He made up a word to try to teach Brahman. And how well did that go? Not at all. Nobody understands what is Gagabugang. Nobody knows. And so then, so one is constrained definitely to use the words that are already known. The problem with trying to use the words that are already known is namely the fact that the words themselves come under the time, space, culture, language matrix. They are just in the vice grip of these things. And so the Lakshana is an innovative way of extricating these words from the time-space matrix, from being time-bound, object-bound, space-bound, and also our orientation. The human orientation is to look for a thing, so Brahman, where is it? I mean, it's not like a lily. It's not like even the sun, of which there is only one. It's not like space. Somehow, we can still understand all these things, but Brahman, very difficult to understand. And so therefore, Visheshanarthatve api satyadinam swartha parityagaha eva. So each and every word is shaken off. Like when you harvest these root vegetables, carrot, potato, etc., You have to give them a little bashing. You have to bash them on the side of the road, the potatoes. And then all the dirt has to go. Clod of earth. So first you get potato, and then along with the clod of earth, both brown in color. How are you going to distinguish? And so one is potato, one is not. So you have to first take away the non-potato from the potato before it can be eaten. And so you take it by the hair. Hair means whatever that has come out above the surface. So you grab it by the greens, and then you thrash it gently on the ground. And then what? Clods of earth dislodge and leave. Then you can say, this is a potato. And then so this is what was the other thing? Non-potato. This is potato, this is non-potato. So non-potato is what we have to is what we are looking at here. And the Lakshana is taking away the non-Brahman, because this Brahman is understood along with, because of the ignorance, is understood exactly as we understand every other object, that it is finite, that it is time bound, that it is space bound, object bound, that it can either be the subject or be the object. It is either inert or sentient. If it is sentient, then it should be the knower. If it is insentient, it is an object. This is what we know. We don't know anything else. And so this is here Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma is giving Brahman a potato harvesting treatment. That's all. So that all the clods of earth leave. The non-potato goes. Non-potato. And then after that, the potato is understood. So when you're thrashing the newly harvested potatoes on the ground or on a surface, on a hard surface, then you cannot have the argument that there is no potato at all. Because all that is coming out at first is non-potato. So therefore, the conclusion is what? Potato nasti. You cannot have that kind of a conclusion. How can you have this conclusion? That is sheer madness. And so therefore, potato, sorry, not now look at me. I'm mixing up the drishtanta and the darshtanta. Potato, no, Brahman asti eva. So here, very interesting. So the word Satyam has a meaning. It is come from as dhatu, as bhuvi, meaning to be. It comes from as, asti, as dhatu, to be. And so along with that being, that as dhatu is there, and that is retained. That doesn't go away. We are not dispensing with that. That is the potato here. That is potato sthaniya. The as dhatu here is potato sthaniya. Everything else, asti means what? Asti for a short time. Gone. Vyabhicharati, gone. Vikaravat Brahma. Brahma is subject to all kinds of, what is that? Vikara means what? Changes, modifications. Gone. Time bound, gone. Asti from what is that? Like a cenotaph. 1899 to 1956. Asti. No, gone. And that is also there is no time here. Oh, asti, where? In this particular special place. Asti. No, not space bound. Oh, asti like an object. So what are the measurements of Brahman? If I want to know the measurements of Brahman, what might they be? All this is gone. But it is retained. One part is retained. Us is retained. And then what? Jnanam. That is also dhatu. Jna, to know. Avabodhane, in the sense of knowing. Actually, doesn't talk about the knower. That's why this Sanskrit is beautiful. That's why the root verbs are wonderful, because they're not yet verbs. They're not yet nouns. They're nothing. They are just sounds with a meaning already attached to them. Nya avabodhane. So avabodhane means what? In the sense of knowing. And here again the potato. Knower, clod of earth gone. Known, gone. It's neither object nor subject, nor the subject of knowledge, nor the object of knowledge, nor anything in between, that which connects the subject to the object, mainly the modes of knowing. Gone, 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 gone. What is left now? Knowingness. And that knowingness is non-separate from beingness. So therefore, a knowing being, that is not time-bound, that is not place-bound, that is not bound by being one particular object at one particular given time and in one particular place. All that is taken away. So the story, so then so this is what is called Swartha Aparityagaha. Does not give up its meaning. Swartha Aparityagaha eva. Doesn't give its meaning. It doesn't give that meaning at all. Does not give up its meaning. It retains its meaning. It gives up everything that is extraneous to this particular situation. So a knowing being, that is what we are talking about. And then shunyarthatvehi satyadi shabdanam visheshya niyantratva anupapattihi. Suppose you say, if we go along with your argument that it is shunya, Brahman is non-existent. If Brahman is non-existent, then why would the Shruti spend her time trying to define Brahman? Allah, because through these words, Satyam Jnanam Anantam, Satyadi Shabdanam, Visheshya Niyantratva Anupapattihi. Niyantratva means it has a special regulatory effect. It's revealing Brahman through a special regulatory effect, and that will be absent, anupapattihi. So then it will be untenable. It will be untenable to have this at all. And so vishesha anupapattihi, vishesha niyantratva anupapattihi. And so little more, this is a little more of an involved discussion. We'll defer it to next week. Enough for now. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you.
Thank you, Samnij.
Thank you. Take care. Om.